Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another The Last Word segment. I'm Dan Roberts, the publisher of the Vegas Voice, and our job is to introduce you to all the wonderful people who have decided to run for elected office in the coming years. We have one such very good person today, and that is Stavros Anthony, and he is a candidate for the position of Lieutenant Governor. Mr. Anthony, I thank you so much for being here.
Well, thanks for having me, Dan. It's great to be here to talk to your audience.
Let's start with your background. Your name is out there, so it's not like nobody knows who you are, but why don't you describe a little bit about your experience and your background?
Well, in 1980, I decided to move out here to Las Vegas to join the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department and be a police officer. And I drove out here in a Chevy Chevette and had $200 in my pocket and went through the academy and field training, had a wonderful 29 years at Metro, retired as a captain about 12 years ago. I've served 2 terms on the Nevada System of Higher Education Board of Regents. I've always decided education is a big deal for me, so I went to UNLV and got my master's degree. I went back to UNLV, got my PhD in sociology. I'm a graduate of the FBI National Academy and the Southern Police Institute Law Enforcement Leadership Program. And 12 years ago, I decided to run for the Las Vegas City Council, and there were 5 of us. I ended up winning, and that's when I retired from Metro. And I've had a great 12 years on the Las Vegas City Council, just representing folks in the city of Las Vegas, representing Ward 4. And I'm currently the mayor pro tem for the city of Las Vegas with Carolyn Goodman, and I've decided that this is a great opportunity for me to continue my public service. That's all I've ever done.
Right.
That's what I know. I know how to make policy and be strategic, and I've decided to run for the lieutenant governor for the great state of Nevada.
I think that's great. But, one of the questions that a lot of people have asked me is, there is a job as lieutenant governor. I know that Kate Marshall had the position, and it's now vacated because she's working for the Biden administration. The lieutenant governor's job basically does what? Assuming the governor's okay.
Right.
So then what do you do?
Well, that's interesting that you bring that up, because for some reason the lieutenant governor position has always been kind of under the radar screen. A lot of people ask me what the lieutenant governor position is responsible for, and I'm going to change that. When I'm the lieutenant governor, I'm going to be very, very active, going out there, and really what I've always done is going out into the community, listening to people, and finding out what's important to them. So when it comes to the lieutenant governor position, obviously you mentioned the big one is it's the second highest constitutional position in Nevada, and if something happens to the governor or the governor's out of state, then I would be the governor, and I would be very honored to be in that position and very capable of it. But the day-to-day operation, the lieutenant governor really has 3 responsibilities. Number 1 is economic development, tourism, and economic diversification. So what I've been doing on the last 12 years on the city council, and it's one of our strategic goals, is economic development. So I'm going to make sure that I'm supporting small businesses, that I'm going to make sure that we work very hard to reduce fines and fees and licensing and taxes, because I want small businesses to open and grow and prosper. And that's going to be one of my top priorities, because that's what the lieutenant governor does. The second is the lieutenant governor does have homeland security responsibilities.
Oh, he does? Okay.
Yes, so I'm going to use my 29 years of experience at Metro to go around the state and talk to sheriffs and police chiefs and everyone in the criminal justice system to find out what they need from the state to make sure their community's safe. I mean, the last thing I'm going to do is defund anybody. Public safety is always number 1 in the minds of people in this state. So I'm going to make sure that our criminal justice system, law enforcement, is supported at the state level. And third, the lieutenant governor is the president of the Senate during the legislative session. So I'm part of the legislative process. So I'm going to make sure that that I champion important issues that I know are important to the residents of Nevada, and that's things like election integrity, education, things of that nature, making sure that taxes are low. So those are the 3 things I'll be primarily emphasizing because that is the responsibility of the lieutenant governor.
But one of the things that I find pretty amazing is, and based on your background as a police officer, captain, the idea that you might be president of the legislature or the Senate. It seems like everybody hates each other. Democrats hate Republicans, and Republicans hate Democrats. How do you get everyone to talk? Especially on the national level, it's one thing, but on the local level, I mean, assuming you win, you're a Republican. If Sisolak is to become governor again, is there a conflict between the parties, or can the people work together?
That's interesting you bring that up, because when I was elected first to the Las Vegas City Council, I was the first Republican elected in about 15 years. So it was me as the Republican and 6 Democrats. And Oscar Goodman was kind of independent. He would kind of float around a little bit, and I love the guy. But and so there was a lot of 6-1 votes. I was voting against a lot of things, and I'll give Mayor Oscar Goodman credit. He came up to me and said, "Listen, I don't like that you're voting against a lot of my projects, but you are very professional about it, and you listen, and you don't talk bad about anybody. You just strictly deal with your policy alignment and what you believe is right and wrong." And he really appreciated that. And today we have 3 Republicans on the city council, 3 Democrats, and Carolyn Goodman. And we get along because we don't make anything derogatory. We don't attack each other. We maybe attack policy and what we believe in, but we never attack people. And that's always been my philosophy, is I never attack anyone. I just maybe disagree with, obviously I disagree with what they have to say, and I'm not scared to tell people why, and why I believe in conservative values, and that's what I'm going to push. But I don't believe in attacking anyone, and I've been able to get along with a lot of people because of that philosophy.
And again, hopefully, when you become lieutenant governor, you think you can still carry that on, or as the higher you move up in office, the more people in tribalism. I mean,
right.
Can you think you can get along with people? You think you can work with them based on your history and everything?
Yes, because I've been doing that for 40 years, and I'm going to continue doing that. And if I'm in the legislature and somebody says something that I disagree with, I will disagree with them, but I'll do it respectfully and professionally, and I won't attack the person. And people appreciate that. If we get into a situation where we're having dialogue with each other without attacking each other, I think we're in a much better position that way.
And again, the thing that surprises me is that I know for no question you're a man of integrity. You care about the community. There's no question about that. And yet, I wonder, after what you went through with the last city council race with Ross Miller, and coming so close that it's just agonizingly close,
right.
Do you still want to get involved on the public side in terms of working, or have you said, look, enough of this already? Has it ever crossed your mind and said, look, I'm done?
Well, as you mentioned, I recently ran for the Clark County Commission, and it was the election was stolen from me. The election was rigged. I mean, the Democrat Party in the last legislature passed procedures involving elections that rigged the election. All mail-in ballots, ballot harvesting, which 2 years ago was a felony. You could go to prison for ballot harvesting. No voter ID when you vote, automatic registration at DMV. All these and many others, all these were put in place by the Democrat legislature, in my opinion, in order to rig the election. And that's what they're used for. There's no real reason to have those in place. So when I ended up losing by 10 votes, what happened was when I woke up on election day, I was up 1,700 votes.
Oh, my.
And that should have been the end of it.
Yeah.
That's historically how it's done. But for the next 10 days, which we have never done before, we counted mail-in ballots. And every single day I went backwards on mail-in ballots, because mail-in ballots, an entire mail-in ballot election is used to cheat. That's what it's for. I mean, President Carter said that. So I ended up losing by 10 votes. And then to top it off, which made it even worse, the election director went to the Clark County Commission when in order to
Remember that,
approve all the elections in Clark County. And he said everything's good in every single election in Clark County except for Stavros Anthony's election. He said it's a 10-vote discrepancy, but I have 139 problem ballots. I don't know who they voted for, and I recommend to you, according to NRS, is that you hold a special election.
Correct.
And to the credit of the Clark County Commission, they voted immediately to hold a special election 6-1. But the Democratic Party came down on top of those Clark County commissioners, and 2 weeks later, they completely changed their vote for no reason, gave no reason, and 7-0 they approved the election. And that is stealing my particular election, because all we wanted, and all the residents of District C wanted, was a special election to decide who won, and they didn't do that. But Dan, I move on.
You move on.
It's done, and I want to continue my public service. And I've decided that lieutenant governor position is really the best place for me to listen to the residents of Nevada, represent the residents of Nevada, and get things done that's important to them.
And with the few minutes that we have left, again, the Vegas Voice is primarily a senior publication, over 50. You're way too young to read it. I know that. But for our readers, they should vote for you for lieutenant governor because.
Well, I'm glad you started off that way, but I just signed up for Medicare, so I should be getting my Medicare card in the mail in the next couple of weeks. But on the Las Vegas City Council in Ward 4, I represent Sun City Summerlin, which is an over 55 community. There's 12,000 homes, or 12,000 residents, about 8,000 homes. And the great thing about representing a senior citizen community is that you get to talk to people that have long-term real-life experiences. And I love to listen to what they have to say and what they think should be done at a city level or state level. And the first thing that I heard when I was campaigning, when I got elected, was we want a fire station in Sun City Summerlin, not because houses were burning, but because they needed quicker response to medical. In 2 years, we built Fire Station 107. I heard from the community that they wanted outdoor pickleball courts. And first thing I asked was, what's pickleball?
Yeah.
I built the first outdoor public use pickleball facility in the state of Nevada in Ward 4 because I listened to what they had to say. And I've been in that community representing, veterans, recognizing veterans, going all the way back to World War II, listening to what they have to say when it comes to transportation. So that's really what I find is important is when it comes to, especially to senior citizens, you have to listen to their life experiences because you can get some real things, great things done in the community.
And if people want more information about you, they want to volunteer or sign up, is there a website somewhere where we can get a hold of you? People can get a hold and contact you.
Well, we're working on a website right now. It eventually will be www.stavros4 Nevada. It should be up and running in the next couple of weeks. I give everybody my personal cell phone, 702-812-0123. You can call me on that. And my email address is stavrosanthony@gmail.com, STAVROS Anthony@gmail.com. And anybody that wants to talk to me about the lieutenant governor position or wants to help volunteer or make a campaign contribution, contact me in one of those three venues, and I would very much appreciate your support.
I thank you so much for being here. We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And this is Dan Roberts for The Last Word, saying we will see you again next time.